This is Jane Low, and I'm at Vast Data Conference APAC launch here in Singapore in Shangri-La Hotel. And with me today, I'm very pleased and very privileged to have Renen Hallak, who is the co-founder and CEO with Vast Data. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
So very much congratulations to your recent fundraising of, I believe it's 118 million, which value your company at $9.1 billion. So amazing accomplishment. So much congratulations. But obviously today you are here to launch the data platform, which you have designed and architected along with your team to help companies be AI ready in this AI era. Now, when we talk about AI era, of course, a lot of us will talk about, ChatGPT, because us as, consumers, everyday people, we are just impressed with how much transformations and value ChatGPT has brought to us. So before we go into how Vast Data is helping companies become AI ready, just want to get your experience in, daily interactions with ChatGPT and Gen AI, and how has it been like for you?
Yeah, I've never used it. So our customers do, and I live vicariously through our customers. We have organizations that are in the life science space that do genomics AI and medical imaging AI and autonomous driving vehicle creation, and we have all kinds of text understanding and generation that our customers do for various reasons, whether it's financial industries where they trade based on news feeds, or whether it's organizations that do tech support. And so I find all of these applications fascinating. I am especially drawn to the ones that are advancing humanity, that are along drug discovery and those types of digital twins where you can simulate dangerous environments without needing to physically build them. But yes, from a personal perspective, I have been less of a user.
All right, okay, then let's talk about the business applications that you have seen. So you were saying that Vast Data was launched in 2016, right? And obviously that is at the beginnings of the AI, I guess, the latest AI wave, right? And now 8 years, more than 8 years later, curious to see how you have seen, companies and businesses and organizations evolve or their use cases when it comes to AI, because obviously the current generation or iteration of AI is very different from the one that we see in 2016. So
Yes.
Can you just give us a sense of what you have seen that's interesting use cases?
Yes, I think it comes from different specialized environments, and each one of them was built independently of the others. They've all been using the same type of basic neural net algorithms, but image recognition is very different than translation, for example. And so a lot of our customers, we've been partnered with the most data-intensive organizations on the planet, and those tend to be on the bleeding edge of AI, because when you collect a lot of information and make use of it, that's usually not numbers or rows and columns of a database. That tends to be pictures and videos and sound and genomes. And for those, you need these new AI abilities in order to analyze them. And so that's been the journey that we've been on for the last few years. Obviously, now that ChatGPT is out, everyone has realized that there's a new ability out there, and new companies are being formed and new applications are being developed on top of platforms like ours, and they will dictate the future. I think chatbots are the first phase where it became widely adopted and widely known. And over the next few years, I expect that we'll see a lot of exciting abilities emerge.
Right, you talk about companies at the bleeding edge, which is using more sort of unstructured data. That's the other word that you use in your presentation to train some of these AI models, right? Can you give a sense for our audience how that transformed the requirements when it comes to AI workloads, right? Versus, say, traditional sort of data.
It's very different. Unstructured means that we don't really know what's going on in there. It's a lot of files and objects that don't really exhibit any type of form. And so we need a new way of analyzing this information in order to give it structure. And so what we built within the Vast Data platform We built it to be very, very scalable because these data sets are a lot larger than what computers were able to analyze before. And we built it to be very performant because these GPUs are now a lot hungrier for data than CPUs ever were before. But now that you have the ability to put all of your data on one platform and have all of it accessible at sub-millisecond latencies, suddenly you can do things with your information that you couldn't do before. You can unlock its value. And so that first phase of what we built, the vast data store, is all about providing a place for unstructured data to live.
Earlier you gave an example of one of your business use case that you've seen that has transformed a financial services company. Can you tell us how vast data has provided that kind of transformation value?
Yes, so once you have access to so much information, you can transform the way you do business. We have a lot, I'm from New York, we have a lot of hedge funds that from the early days have been using VAST. I'll give an example of one that was able to, instead of backtesting 1 week's worth of data, they can backtest 20 years worth of data, which means that they get better results from their trading algorithms. They can do it instead of having to wait overnight and have it be a batch process. They can do everything in real time, which means they don't have to wait for results. They can have multiple teams all running separate calculations and analyses on the same data at the same time without stepping on each other's toes because of the quality of service abilities that our platform provides. And all of that transforms the way they do business. But more than that, now that they have, again, access to so much information, it's not limited to trade data. They can look at satellite images. They can look at news feeds. They can look at natural information from the natural world that can augment that historical trade data as they try to understand how to do their trades going forward.
And now you describe vast data as like an operating system.
Yes.
So it's a software layer rather than, say, a hardware sort of infrastructure or data center.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Every time that we've seen a technology become widely available, it was because of an operating system that made it easy to use, that made it simple. The first one, of course, was in the personal computer revolution, where all of us can now use computers because they're so easy because of that operating system. The same exact thing needs to happen for this AI era. It's a new type of operating system. It's not within a computer. It's not even within a data center. It's across the globe, and it provides access to information for this level of analysis.
Do you foresee that kind of operating system being more available to consumers?
I think it's going to be underneath the covers. The applications will make its abilities available to consumers.
Right.
But we want every single enterprise, every single cloud, every single person to be able to leverage what these new technologies can do. And of course, an operating system is not limited just to storage. Over the years, what we've built on top of the vast data store is a database that gives you ability to analyze what's within your information. We built what we call the vast data engine, which is a compute framework, an application runtime, where data-driven functions can run based on data that comes into the system. The vast data space is what I mentioned a few minutes ago about this being globally distributed across clouds and core and edge and devices. You want one single platform that has all of those parts vertically integrated, because then you can focus on the application and not worry about infrastructure.
So you also mentioned at your presentation about performance versus performance and scalability and resilience versus pricing.
Yes.
And you touch on scalability and performance, right? So when it comes to resilience, right, a lot of people talk about, which you also mentioned during our presentation and the panel discussion earlier, cybersecurity and data protection,
yes.
right? And obviously, when it comes to handling big amounts of data, that's something that's extremely important. Can you tell us a bit about how, AI is perhaps transforming your thinking in that
Yes.
area?
I think even before AI, data protection and resilience and security were major parts of the platform that we built. Everything from encrypting the data and providing different keys for different tenants, and the ability to do authorization and authentication of users, the ability to protect against ransomware attacks, and then to detect them and to roll back if something bad happens. All of these pieces are inherent to the Vast Data platform. And that is what is allowing us to penetrate not just early adopters like hedge funds, but the largest banks in the world, the most regulated industries in the world, government agencies. These security abilities are at the core of what we've built. What we're seeing now is that new abilities in AI are opening new attack vectors and new threat vectors, and those require a new way of thinking about protecting for data privacy, protecting for copyright infringement, protecting against things that didn't exist before because AI wasn't a thing yet. And I think a whole new industry is going to be formed around AI security, just like cybersecurity was formed once the internet was available.
Right, yeah. And of course, a lot of people are saying that AI is a double-edged sword when it comes to cybersecurity. On one hand, it helps the hackers, right, empowers them. And then on the other hand, it can also help cyber defenders, right, to spot vulnerabilities a lot quicker, I guess, right? So for companies who want to be AI ready, right, and looking at their, say, their data infrastructure, what is your advice to them, the first thing that they need to evaluate?
Yes. So as you said before, what we did was we broke the trade-off between compromises that existed in this space, between price and performance and scale and resilience and ease of use. Breaking those compromises, breaking those trade-offs allows us to be very, very good for the new workloads. It's also pretty good for existing workloads. And so what we find is that our customers use VAST as a bridge into this new world of AI. They can start putting their data on our platform today and continue to use their existing applications and gain benefits on day one from having more of it accessible at lower cost, at higher resilience. And then they know that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, as somebody comes in and asks them to take advantage of a new workload, of a new application, they're ready for it. Their data is on a system that is fully accessible, and they will not need to migrate it over to a new platform when that day comes.
Right, okay. So what is the first thing they need to do to engage or adopt VAST?
Well, call us.
All right, okay.
It's very simple. It's a software platform. We run on top of pretty much any hardware that is out there.
Right, okay.
And we have very, very simple ways of migrating data over to VAST. And we believe in a very consultative approach. And so we collaborate with our customers, we partner with our customers, we ask them to see us as an extension of their team. And so we help them on this journey. And because we're engaged with so many organizations that are on the bleeding edge of AI, we see things that help us help the rest of our customers.
Right. So so on that note, thank you very much for your time today and giving us a glimpse into how this in this new AI era we need to rethink about the data infrastructure layers and the data platforms that companies are using. So thank you very much for your time today, Renen.
Thank you. It was great to be here.